right, so today we're going to really dig into something I think we've all struggled with.
Okay.
Why is it so hard to make sustainable choices,
Yeah.
even when we know better?
Yeah.
Like, we know we should, but then,
Right.
we're just not doing it.
It's so hard.
It really is. And we've got a ton of research here.
Okay.
We've got Sophia Cheenath's article on, like, the psychology behind convenience.
Interesting.
And then we've even got, like, a study, it was from Arizona State University a few years back,
Okay.
about microplastics in tap water.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot.
yeah, we're going to look at all sorts of different angles on this and try to figure out why our brains just don't want to.
Why do we keep choosing convenience over sustainability?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to start out with Cheenath, in her article, she kind of argues that convenience
Okay.
equals instant gratification
Right.
for our brains.
Like a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we get that little...
We're wired for it.
Yeah. And so then it's less about...
It's not even about willpower
No.
at a certain point. It's like
Our brain chemistry.
it's our brain chemistry
Yeah.
is working against us.
Yeah. And then she brings in this psychologist, Rashi Balash.
Okay.
And Balash talks about...
I love Vilash.
Oh, yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. Have you read his stuff?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
So he talks about cognitive heuristics, which are basically just like mental shortcuts that our brain uses
Yes.
to decide things.
Like to make decisions quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like without thinking about it too much.
Yeah. And so sometimes those lead us down a path that's
Not great.
the best.
Not the most sustainable.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's like instead of like weighing all the options, our
Yeah.
brain's just like taking
So-
the shortcut.
What's easiest?
Yeah.
Like the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly.
Like there's actually this perfect example from behavioral economics.
Oh, okay.
This is a classic.
Okay.
It's called the default bias.
Where people are way more likely to just stick with
Whatever's already chosen.
the pre-selected option,
Uh-huh.
even if it's not the best one.
No.
Like, those online forms where you have to opt out of receiving paper mail?
Yes.
Most people don't.
Totally.
They just end up with a pile of junk mail.
Yes, like how much of our choices are really choices then?
Right. Like how much
It's just like going with the flow.
it's just autopilot.
Yeah, okay, so that if
Yeah.
we kind of zoom out from just like our individual choices,
Okay.
is this just about personal responsibility then?
Yeah.
Or are there bigger forces at play?
I mean,
Because I know Cheenath's mentioned an Oxfam study.
oh, yeah, that one's crazy.
Okay.
It was featured in the Economist Impact article,
Okay.
and it found that the richest 10%
The world.
of the world,
Wow.
they're responsible for over half
What?
of all carbon emissions.
Like in history?
Yeah, like cumulative.
Wow.
So that's
That's wild.
that's a lot.
So even if I'm like doing all the right things,
Yeah.
it doesn't even...
It's a drop in the bucket
yeah.
compared to...
Compared to the richest 10%.
Yeah. And it's not just about having more stuff either.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about their lifestyles.
Okay.
Like they fly more, they have bigger houses.
So energy intensive.
Exactly.
Huh.
It all adds up.
Wow. Okay, so that is a little disheartening.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But I'm thinking about like the Personal Signal article we read,
Oh, yeah.
where the author,
That one.
they were talking about how they know they should have an electric car,
Right.
but they just find gas more convenient.
Yeah, it's so relatable.
Like, I feel like
We've all been there.
we've all been there.
Right.
Like, I know what I should do,
Yeah.
but then,
But real life gets in the way.
yeah, it's so much easier to
Right.
just,
Do what you're used to.
yeah, and not even think about it.
Exactly.
No.
But there's hope.
Obvi-
Things can change.
Okay.
Remember single-use plastics?
Oh, yeah.
The ASU study talked about how they used to be like
The best thing.
the ultimate convenience.
Right.
And now we're all like,
Trying to get rid of them.
exactly.
So, like, what was once normal can change.
It totally can.
Okay, that is good.
Yeah.
That is good.
So how do we make sustainable choices more appealing then?
Yeah. If we're so wired for convenience,
Right.
what can we do?
Well, there are a couple things we can look at,
Okay.
both on an individual level and then like bigger systemic changes.
Okay, so let's start with what we can do in our own lives.
Okay.
Like right now.
Right now.
What can we do today?
Yeah, good question. Well, Eco Boulevard had some good ideas.
Okay.
And then there was that other article,
Yeah.
Repurpose.
Oh, yeah. Repurpose.
Both of them basically said,
Okay.
start small.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to change everything at once. Just
Yeah.
pick one thing.
Okay.
Like, swap out single-use plastics
Yeah.
for reusable stuff.
What kind of things?
Oh, like, instead of getting a to-go cup every day at the coffee shop,
Uh-huh.
bring your own travel mug. Little things like that.
But what about like takeout?
What about it?
Like I get takeout a lot because cooking is just
Yeah,
so much work.
I hear you.
Hi, Lara.
It's tempting to just order in.
It's so easy.
It is.
But is that even worth changing?
Well, you don't have to go cold turkey.
Okay.
Maybe start with, like,
Okay.
cooking at home a couple nights a week.
Okay.
You know?
Instead of every night.
Exactly.
But
Baby steps.
Okay, baby steps.
And then repurpose, had this cool idea about repurposing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, before you throw something away, think about if you can use it for something else.
Okay.
Like, turn an old T-shirt into a shopping bag.
Oh, that's clever.
Right.
Okay.
Or use empty jars for storage.
Okay, so it's more about just being mindful
Yes.
than, like, being perfect.
Exactly. It's not about being zero waste or anything. Just being more conscious about your choices.
And breaking those habits.
Yeah. The autopilot ones.
The ones where I don't even think about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then another thing to consider is where you're shopping.
Okay.
Can you shop local, like support local businesses?
Instead of like big online retailers?
Yes, exactly.
It's better for the environment.
Because of shipping.
Yeah, less transportation.
Okay.
And it helps your community too.
So all these little things can actually add up.
To make a
difference.
They really do.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But what about those big systemic changes?
Yeah.
Like, that feels kind of out of my control. Like, I can't force companies to be more sustainable.
Right.
You know?
But systems are made up of individuals.
Okay.
So your choices do matter.
Okay.
Like if you buy products made from recycled materials, you're telling companies that you care about sustainability.
Oh, so it's like sending a signal.
Exactly.
With my wallet.
It's a vote.
Okay.
With your dollar.
So it's not just about, like, individual actions, then?
It's about, like...
It's both.
Okay.
You can make changes in your own life. And also advocate for bigger changes.
Like policy changes.
Exactly. Support policies that promote renewable energy or push for stricter regulations on plastic.
Okay.
It all makes a difference.
But sometimes it feels like those big changes are so far off.
I know.
Like, we need action now.
Right.
But these systemic shifts...
They take time. But there are examples of where it's worked.
Really?
Yeah, like, look at urban planning.
Okay.
Cities that invested in public transportation, bike lanes, pedestrian-friendly streets.
Okay.
People in those cities are choosing more sustainable transportation.
Because it's easier.
Exactly.
Like, if it's convenient,
yeah,
then I'll do it.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's product design.
Okay.
This whole circular economy thing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Where products are designed to be recycled.
Okay.
Repurposed.
So it's easier to get rid of them responsibly.
Yeah.
At the end of their life.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's about making sustainability.
The path of least resistance instead of an uphill battle.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not about giving up convenience.
No.
It's about redefining it in a way that's sustainable.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to get it.
It's about aligning what's good for us with what's good for the planet.
And it's not about shaming people
No.
who choose convenience.
It's about understanding why we do it.
Okay.
And then designing systems that make it easier.
To make better choices.
Exactly.
Okay, that feels a lot more hopeful.
Good.
Than just feeling guilty all the time.
I know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But we can do it.
But I do have one more question.
Okay, what is it?
We've talked about how technology is like driving convenience.
Right.
But can it also be used to promote sustainability?
That's a great question.
Like the ASU article mentioned, all these new technologies, like biodegradable plastics, more efficient solar panels.
Exactly.
Like, can technology be the solution?
It definitely can be. I mean, technology in itself isn't good or bad.
Right.
It's all about how we use it.
Right.
And the good news is people are coming up with some really cool solutions.
Like what?
Well, think about renewable energy.
Okay.
Like solar and wind power, they used to be so expensive.
Right.
But now they're getting cheaper.
Yeah.
So more people can afford them.
And that's good for the environment.
Exactly.
Okay. I read somewhere that electric cars are going to be
huge.
Like everywhere.
Yeah. The market's going to explode.
So does that mean we can actually reduce emissions from transportation?
I think so.
Wow.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's also about government policies.
Oh, right. Like incentives.
Yeah. And people wanting cleaner options.
It's like everything working together.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm feeling a little more hopeful now. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the bad news.
I know.
But it's good to remember that progress is happening.
It is.
So are there other industries where this is happening?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like,
well, there's agriculture, for one.
Okay.
People are developing plant-based meats.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
They're getting better all the time.
And that could help with emissions from farming.
For sure.
Okay. What else?
The fashion industry is making some changes, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're using more sustainable materials.
Okay.
And focusing on ethical production.
So it's like We don't have to give up on convenience.
Right.
We just have to make it sustainable.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's about redefining what convenience means.
Yeah, in a way that works for everyone.
For people and the planet.
Okay, so it's a team effort.
It is.
We all have to do our part.
Whether it's making different choices,
yeah,
supporting sustainable businesses, or speaking up for change.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
Me too.
It's given me a lot to think about.
Just remember, awareness is the first step.
Right.
Once you understand the problem, you can start finding solutions.
So for everyone listening, we'll have links to all the articles we talked about.
And the show notes.
So you can learn more.
Keep learning, keep asking questions.
And keep making a difference.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, keep exploring the world around you.